Get the Guy by Matthew Hussey. Picture a teenage boy, completely clueless around women. While other guys seemed to effortlessly charm the girls they liked, he stood on the sidelines feeling invisible. But instead of giving up, that frustration lit something inside him. He threw himself into understanding human connection, attraction, what makes people drawn to each other. He ended up coaching over 10,000 men, teaching them how to find the confidence to connect with women. People called him the real-life hitch, a professional date doctor. Then one day, in front of 300 men, he asked a question that would redirect his entire career and touch millions of women's lives. He asked, "Who here just wants to get laid?" About 60% raised their hands. Then he asked, "And who here wants to find a great, meaningful relationship?" Every single hand shot up. That moment hit Matthew Hussey like lightning. He was sitting on a secret most women didn't know. Deep down, men want exactly what women do, a lasting, meaningful connection. All the insights he'd gathered about how men think could be shared with women, not as manipulation tactics, but as tools to help them find the love they deserved. That revelation became this book, Get the Guy, and today, we're diving into its pages. This isn't about memorizing pickup lines or dating tricks. It's about fundamentally changing how you see yourself and your place in the world of love. By the end, you'll understand not just the secrets of the male mind, but how to build a life so compelling that the right person will feel grateful just to be part of it. You'll learn how to stop leaving your love life to chance and start creating the opportunities you want, all while becoming what the author calls a woman of high value. Let me ask you something Matthew Hussey poses right at the start. How many new men do you actually meet in a typical week? Not just passing glances on the street, but real interactions, genuine conversations. For most people, the honest answer is 1, maybe 0. And there's the problem we're all facing. We've been fed a fairy tale. Movies and romance novels taught us that love is fate's job, that destiny will magically drop our perfect match right in front of us at a coffee shop. So we wait. We build our careers, nurture friendships, pursue hobbies, and assume our love life will just sort itself out. But years drift by, and that lack of urgency slowly morphs into quiet desperation. We start wondering, where are all the good men? Hussey's answer? They're everywhere around you. The problem isn't a shortage of good men, it's a shortage of opportunity, and that's something you create. The first profound truth in this book is that you have a choice. Every moment, you're either waiting for life to happen to you, or you're actively creating it. Waiting is comfortable because it requires nothing, but creating opens up endless possibilities. To find the right person, you need to increase your odds. And that means meeting more people. Not 1 or 2, but significantly more. Hussey visualizes this with a brilliant concept, the funnel. Imagine a large funnel where you pour in everyone you meet, men and women alike. This first funnel isn't about being picky. It's about practicing conversation, about engaging with the world around you. From that large group, only the men you find attractive pass through to a smaller, second funnel. From there, only the ones you'd actually date move to a third, and so on, until you're left with someone truly worthy of a relationship. This transforms your entire mindset from scarcity to abundance. When you believe plenty of good men exist, you stop desperately clinging to the first decent one who appears. You gain the power to choose, rather than hoping to be chosen. But this whole process starts with a deeper internal shift. Before you can attract an extraordinary person, you need to become an extraordinary person. This is the philosophy's foundation, becoming what Hussey calls a woman of high value. It's not about looks, money, or status. It's about developing 4 essential traits. First is self-confidence, or as he calls it, certainty. This is an unshakable belief in your own worth. A woman with certainty knows that any man's life would be enriched by having her in it. She doesn't seek approval because she already has it from herself. When you're certain of your value, you project an energy that makes others feel special, just being around you. He thinks that if a woman with such high standards is giving him her time, he must be someone worth knowing. Second is independence. Hussey puts it bluntly, before you get the guy, you've got to get a life. A woman of high value has a life she loves, filled with passions, hobbies, and meaningful pursuits. She's not looking for a man to fill a void. She's looking for someone worthy of joining her already full and wonderful life. To a man, this is magnetic. It signals she won't be needy or clingy, which is one of his biggest fears. The message is crystal clear. I'm complete without you, but I want you in my life because you're worthy of being there. Third is integrity. This means knowing your principles and living by them. A woman of integrity doesn't reshape her values to match a man's just to win his approval. This isn't just about big moral questions. It shows up in small moments, like being kind to a server or refusing to participate in gossip. To a man, this signals you're trustworthy and that you'll hold him to a higher standard, which challenges him to be his best self. Finally, there's femininity. Now, this isn't about being weak or submissive. Actually, it's about a strength that's uniquely female. A man is fundamentally drawn to a woman's femininity because it allows him to feel masculine. This taps into his deepest instinct, the need to protect and provide. That doesn't mean he needs to be the breadwinner. It means he needs to feel he offers something valuable to your life, even if it's just emotional support or making you feel safe. When you say, "I really missed you today," you're validating his role in your life. This leads to a simple but powerful rule. If a man offers you his jacket, just take it. Doesn't matter if you're actually cold. In that moment, he's not being patronizing, he's trying to feel accepted. By accepting his help, you're accepting him. You're saying, okay, you're allowed to take care of me. So now you're building this incredible life, embodying these high-value traits. But how do you bridge the gap between your world and his? How do you meet someone without feeling like you're chasing them? This brings us to one of the book's most elegant ideas, the white handkerchief approach. Back in Victorian times, women couldn't openly pursue men. So if she spotted an interesting gentleman, she might accidentally drop her white handkerchief as she walked past. The gallant hero would pick it up, rush to return it, and a conversation would begin. He'd think fate dropped a perfect opportunity in his path. But she'd know the truth. She orchestrated the whole thing. She chose him, made the first move, but in disguise. So what's the modern white handkerchief? It's about giving a man a clear, low-risk signal that it's safe to approach you. Because here's Hussey's great revelation from coaching men. The more attracted a guy is to you, the less likely he is to approach. The fear of public rejection, of being shot down in front of his friends, is so powerful that most men would rather do nothing than risk it. Your modern handkerchief has 3 parts. First is the look. This isn't a quick, nervous glance. It's a 2-step process. First, a brief half-second look to get on his radar. Then, a moment later, a second look, held a bit longer, with a slight, warm smile. A smile makes a man 70% more likely to approach than eye contact alone. It's your way of saying, "Yes, I noticed you, and I'm interested." Second, if the look isn't enough, you get closer. You remove the obstacle of him having to cross a crowded room. You find a reason to be near him, browse the same bookstore section, order a drink at the same time at the bar. You make it easy for him to turn and say hello. And third, the most powerful tool, the small favor. Approaching a guy and saying, "I could really use your help with something," is pure magic. His brain immediately lights up. The man in him wants to help, to be useful. The favor can be absurdly simple. "Can you hold my jacket for 2 seconds while I give these drinks to my friends?" He'll almost never refuse. And when you return to thank him, a conversation has started naturally, and he feels like the hero. Once you're in that conversation, the goal is moving beyond boring small talk. Hussey gives us the ultimate formula for attraction, a combination of 4 elements that create a deep, lasting bond. It starts with visual chemistry. This isn't about being a supermodel. Hussey calls this perceived beauty, which comes from behavior, how you carry yourself, your playful energy, your confidence. It's the charisma that makes you magnetic, regardless of your physical features. Next comes perceived challenge. This isn't about playing hard to get. A woman who plays hard to get pretends to be busy. A high-value woman actually is busy. Perceived challenge means you have high standards, and he has to earn his place in your life. You're not a conquest to be won, but a partner to be earned. Then there's perceived value. This is where your independent, passionate life shines. A man commits to a woman when he realizes that being with her gives him experiences he could never have alone. You're not just a challenge, you're a prize worth pursuing because you have a world he wants to explore. And finally, connection. This is the emotional bond that makes him feel understood. You move beyond surface facts like, what do you do for a living, and seek deeper values. If money were no issue, what would you spend your life doing? You get him talking about his passions, his dreams, and in doing so, he associates those positive feelings with you. As you build this attraction, the question of physical intimacy will come up. Hussey's guidance here is clear and thoughtful. The question isn't, how many dates should I wait? The real question is, have we reached the emotional hook point? The emotional hook point is that moment when he's emotionally invested. It's when he's thinking about you when you're not around, when he realizes you're special and irreplaceable. Sex before this point can be problematic. For a man, sex doesn't automatically create emotional connection. He can feel intense physical passion while remaining emotionally detached. The goal is establishing the emotional bond first, so that sex deepens that connection, rather than substituting for it. And here's something crucial. A man's deepest anxiety is thinking he just slept with a woman anyone could have had. He needs to feel he earned it, that something unique about him made you choose him over everyone else. Now let's say you've done all this. You're building a real connection, and things are heading toward a relationship. This is the stage Hussey calls keeping the guy, and it's where many people stumble, thinking the hard work is over. Actually, it's just beginning. To build a lasting bond, you need to understand a man's 5 deepest needs in a relationship. First, he needs sexual validation. We've touched on this, but in a long-term relationship, it's critical. He needs to feel that he can turn you on, that he's your man. When you tell him, "It really turns me on when you do that," he'll never forget it. You're giving him the blueprint to your pleasure, and he'll want to follow it. Second, he needs someone who recognizes his uniqueness. He wants to feel you see something special in him that no one else does. When you praise him, be specific. Instead of generic, "You're so sweet," try, "I love that you have this strong, confident side, but you also notice the small, beautiful things in the world." He'll feel seen and understood by you in a way that makes you irreplaceable. Third, he needs a loyal teammate. A great relationship is a team of 2, where you both have each other's backs. This means supporting his goals, defending him in public, and believing in his dreams. It's the simple feeling that, no matter what, you're on his side. Fourth, as we discussed, he needs to protect and provide. Even in a world of equals, he still needs to feel he serves a purpose in your life. You can be strong and independent, and still need your man. Sharing your vulnerability after a tough day, and letting him comfort you, allows him to fulfill this primal need. And fifth, he needs to be nurtured and supported. The greatest way to nurture a man is believing in him. When you show him you believe in his vision and potential, you give him strength he can't get anywhere else. Finally, what about that ultimate step, commitment? Many men fear commitment, but it's not commitment itself they're afraid of. They fear what they associate with it. The end of fun, freedom, and adventure. The trick isn't convincing him with words, but showing him through your actions that a life with you is more adventurous, more exciting, and more fulfilling than any fantasy he has about being single. You do this by continuing to be that high-value woman with her own amazing life. Hussey uses a wonderful metaphor. Your life is a train about to leave the station for exciting destinations. The man you're dating is on the platform. He knows the itinerary, and he's welcome to climb aboard. But the train won't wait for him. If he chooses to get on, the journey will be incredible. But if he hesitates, the train is leaving without him, because you have places to go. This isn't a game. It's the reality of a woman who values herself and her time. And when a man sees that your train is headed somewhere amazing, he won't want to be left behind. As we wrap up our journey through Get the Guy, it's easy to see the book as a clever dating manual, and it is, but stopping there would miss its deepest, most important message. This book, at its core, isn't really about getting a guy. It's about getting a life. It's a blueprint for building an existence so rich, so full of passion, and so aligned with your values, that a relationship becomes a wonderful addition, not a desperate necessity. The most powerful lesson Matthew Hussey offers is the shift from passive to active in your own story. The idea of creating, not waiting, extends far beyond just love. It's a life philosophy. It's about taking responsibility for your own happiness, your own social connections, your own adventures. When you live from abundance, believing opportunities are everywhere and you're worthy of them, you stop operating from fear and start operating from confidence. What I find most beautiful in this work is the concept of the woman of high value. It redefines strength. It's not about being tough or guarded. It's about having quiet certainty in your own worth. It's about being independent enough to have your own world, but open enough to let someone special into it. It's about holding firm to your integrity while embracing the warmth and grace of your femininity. This isn't a persona you put on to impress someone. It's the person you become for yourself. The true magic of this approach is that getting the guy becomes a byproduct of living a great life. You're not twisting yourself to fit someone else's ideal. You're building your own ideal life. And in the process, you become a beacon for the right kind of person, someone drawn to your light, not someone you have to chase in the dark. So how can you start applying these ideas today? Let's make it simple. First, practice creating small opportunities. Next time you buy coffee or go to a store, have a simple, warm conversation with the person serving you. Ask them how their day's going and truly listen. This small practice builds the social muscle you need for every other interaction in your life. Second, embrace the idea of letting him be a man. Next time a man offers a small kindness, holding a door, offering to carry something, resist the urge to say, "I've got it." Simply smile and say, "Thank you." In that tiny moment, you're practicing graciously accepting help, which allows him to feel valued. Third, begin cultivating just one aspect of your own high-value life. What's one passion or interest you've put on the back burner? A cooking class, a hiking trail, a new language? Take one small step this week to bring that back into your life, not for anyone else but for you. That was our summary of Get the Guy by Matthew Hussey. We've explored the main pathways of his philosophy today, but a summary, no matter how detailed, is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map can show you where to go, but it can never replace the feeling of walking those streets yourself, smelling the air, discovering a hidden alley that wasn't marked. The real transformation happens when you engage with the book directly. If any of the ideas we discussed today sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about absorbing information. It's an experience that can fundamentally change how you navigate the world and, more importantly, how you see your own incredible value within it. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please show your support by liking and subscribing to Billionaire's Bookshelf. It allows us to continue bringing you these journeys into the world's most impactful books. Let's keep learning and growing together.